Oh, hello and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him, and today I am going to discuss Dynasty, Superflex, Startup Drafts, best and worst value from the top 3 rounds. In other words, I will be covering the best buy lows and sell highs, the high value targets that you might want to be checking out in your Dynasty League. So we're going based off the current ADP according to this post right here. And we are going to go starting right around round 1. And my best value in round 1, my number 1 trade for target in round 1 is a guy who is still being drafted very high currently at number 4 overall. It is Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles for a few reasons. Number 1, he is the only quarterback to finish in the top 3 other than Josh Allen in the past 2 seasons. He's still 25. He's still in the same situation, despite what people might think. I think that situation in Philadelphia is a little bit more stable than most people are saying. Even for Philadelphia standards, I think Sirianni's safe for at least a couple more years. He's got a very stable rushing floor, which we all know is great for fantasy, especially if you're in point per first down and 4-point passing touchdown leagues. Of course, he's less valued in 6-point passing touchdown leagues and less valued in 0 points per first down leagues, but those leagues are getting more and more popular, especially if you're playing with me. And he's still got age on his side. He's a 25-year-old athlete. I don't think he's shown any signs of slowing up anytime soon. A.J. Brown is still on the team, for goodness gracious, and he's just been a top 3 guy over and over again. And I still got to put him ahead of C.J. Stroud. I love C.J. Stroud's moxie. I love him, honestly, more as a quarterback for my franchise. If I'm a Texans fan, I'd rather have C.J. Stroud. But in fantasy, he's just not going to have the rushing floor that Jalen Hurts is going to have for the next 5-10 years. So I'd still be taking Jalen Hurts second overall, right behind Josh Allen. And unfortunately, this was really tough. My worst value, my least likely to draft player in round 1 is Anthony Richardson. And the only reason for this, I get when he played, he was electric. He scored a lot of points in the first few games that he played. He was a top quarterback in all of the games he completed as a rookie early on in the season. Number 1, we've seen other quarterbacks flash in their first couple of games and quickly get figured out. Number 1 being Will Levis would be the first one to come to mind. And when you have a mobile quarterback as your franchise quarterback, the biggest concern you have is, can that mobile quarterback stay healthy? And Anthony Richardson proved to all of us in a short period of time, granted to him it was a small sample size, but in that small sample size, he managed to get injured several times and fought through a couple of them and wasn't able to fight through some other ones. So that's a major red flag for me. And if I'm taking a guy in a startup draft where you're going to have this guy as supposedly a pillar of your team for the next decade or so, God willing, the league lasts that long, which if you're joining a Dynasty League, why wouldn't you want it to last forever? But anyways, why are you going to stake your entire reputation as a Dynasty manager on a guy in the first round, granted late first round, if there's a lot of question marks up in the air when there are amazing talents still available later on in the draft? And now for round 2, my best value in round 2 is a Detroit Lion, and it is Jahmyr Gibbs. And the reason it's Jahmyr Gibbs, I get David Montgomery is going to be there, but he was there and healthy for the second half of the season, more or less, and it just became Jahmyr Gibbs' time. He has such game-breaking speed. He has big play speed, and he does have enough size to get some game in on the goal line, especially through the screen game as well. We know he is a great wide receiver. He led Alabama in receptions the last year he played for Alabama, and he showed that for the Lions. Once he figured out the NFL style, Dan Campbell came out early in the season It was like, he's just not in the right spot yet. We can't really trust him yet for that reason. We're kind of holding him back. He figured it out. And when he figured it out, he was electric. And he was electric before he figured it out. He didn't have the volume to back it up. He demonstrated that he can stay healthy. He demonstrated that he can be strong in between the tackles, outside of the tackles. He's electric. And when he is a receiver, he's electric, obviously before catch, during catch, and obviously after catch, because he is Jahmyr Gibbs. He's behind a great offensive line. He's in a stable situation in Detroit. Dan Campbell ain't going anywhere anytime soon. They are having their same offensive coordinator. Ben Johnson didn't get snagged this past season for at least one more year. I am a big believer in Jahmyr Gibbs, and the fact that you're getting him after Bijan Robinson still is a little bit of a head scratcher to me. I get Bijan was a better prospect to most coming out of college. However, the Lions didn't think so. The Lions had Gibbs as number one on their board when they traded back when Bijan was still available. So they had Gibbs graded higher than Bijan. And I think the eye test backs that up. And obviously the stats back that up. He outperformed Bijan in total points and in average points this season. And my worst value for the second round is the guy going right around that 1-2 turn. It is a rookie, Caleb Williams. And the reason he is my worst value and number one, I guess, trade high asset. If you have the number one overall pick currently in Dynasty, you should be looking to trade back at least 2 or 3 spots, in my opinion. Even if you are quarterback needy, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this draft. You're going to see a lot of quarterbacks go pretty early in this draft. And we just know that quarterbacks hit, quarterbacks miss is a really, really tough position to predict. Even NFL scouts are really bad at predicting it. CJ Stroud wasn't the number one consensus. He didn't go number one overall this past season. Bryce Young did. So even if you feel really good about Caleb Williams, you're way better off trading back a few spots or trading for a known high value asset like a current quarterback, a known commodity. Because granted, Caleb Williams' ceiling is literally through the roof, but his floor is way, way lower than every single other player currently going in the second round of Dynasty startups. So for that reason, if you have the first overall pick in Dynasty, you got to be looking to trade back. You got to be making an effort to trade back and get solid second round, third round picks or a solid known commodity along with a third overall pick, fourth overall pick, where you're getting neighbors. You still got a shot at Marvin Harrison, or take your pick, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, guys who have similar ceilings to Caleb Williams, similar floors to Caleb Williams, but you're getting a couple more at bats, if you will, in the second or third round, maybe in the first round, if you find someone who really loves Caleb Williams. And for the third round of Dynasty startups, my best value is A.J. Brown. He is going currently 312 as wide receiver 8. Last year, he was wide receiver 6. The year before then, he was wide receiver 5. He is 26 years old. So why wouldn't you be drafting A.J. Brown in the third round? He's in the same situation that he was last season. Again, like I said earlier, Jalen Hurts is in a stable position, in my opinion. I don't think they're firing Sirianni this upcoming season if they get to a slow start. They are hopefully going to figure it out offensive coordinator-wise, because it didn't really work out this season. And I think that's makes the opportunity for A.J. Brown that much higher. So I would be drafting him a lot earlier than 312 if I was doing a startup draft at the moment. And again, I'm going to get a little bit redundant here, but my worst value for round 3 is going to have to be Drake May. He is currently going ahead of Jaden Daniels, which is surprising to me. I would definitely see Jaden Daniels as a better commodity in most scoring formats, especially in point per first down. I get Drake May is very mobile, but Jaden Daniels' ceiling and floor is so much higher just because he's going to run the ball a bunch. That's his big knock on him coming out of college, is that he just scrambles too much. But why wouldn't you if you're Jaden Daniels? In my opinion, I think he has just as likely to stay healthy in the NFL as Drake May, not knowing where either of those guys are going at the moment. But I would take Jaden Daniels. So that's why he is not the worst value, because he is also a rookie quarterback in the third round. But this is another reason, even if you have 102 or 103, I would be looking to trade back to 104, because in my opinion, that's where you see the big drop off in this draft class. Trying to trade back to 104 or getting a solid known commodity for your second or third overall dynasty draft pick, because you're getting Neighbors, you're getting Drake May. I mean, if Caleb Williams falls to you, that's awesome. Or your pick between Drake May and Jaden Daniels, Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr. They're just such solid guys, what I would be considering blue chips. With all that being said, wide receivers hit at a lot higher rate. Blue chip wide receivers hit a lot higher rate coming out of college than quarterbacks do, because there's just so many question marks in the air coming out of college. So I would not recommend taking Drake May that early in startup drafts. In fact, I would take quarterbacks, Dak, Purdy, Tua, and Goff, maybe Watson, if you really pressed me on it, before I would take Drake May. Tell me what you think. Do you think I missed anything? Do you think I nailed it? Are you currently working on those trades that I recommended? My name's Jamie Jakes. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and good night.